Con number 3 if you want to learn about new ways to deal with wolves. Wolves, a predator native to Europe and Asia, are becoming an increasingly serious problem in the United States. Initially, they were brought into the country for hunting and recreational purposes. However, wolves quickly adapted to their new environment and have become an invasive species of concern. Wolves have caused many worrying problems for the agricultural industry and local communities. One of the biggest problems is that they hunt livestock, causing loss of livestock numbers and great economic loss to people. Farmers, especially sheep herders, are often victims of mass attacks from wolves, which leave scores of sheep injured and severely damaged. The appearance of wolves also caused confusion and anxiety in the local community. People living in wolf-infested areas often face financial and emotional pressure, and they feel unsafe in their daily lives. However, to solve this problem, there are many measures that can be applied. Trapping is a traditional method used to capture wolves and control their numbers in specific areas. Additionally, hunting wolves is an effective method of reducing their existence in the wild, although there are environmental protection regulations that must be followed. Farms can also implement enhanced security measures, such as building fences and using spotlights along with hunting dogs to prevent wolves from entering farm areas. This helps protect livestock and crops from coyote attacks, while also creating a safer environment. In addition, monkeys are also one of the invasive species whose numbers are increasing rapidly. They are everywhere on the streets and often attack people in tourist areas and beaches. Monkeys can transmit infectious diseases to humans and other animals through close contact, posing a threat to the health of humans and wildlife. They also cause heavy damage to fruit and agricultural farms, with their intelligence and agility. A sudden increase in monkey populations can cause many problems for people in agriculture. From attacking and destroying farms to causing economic damage and worrying communities. Local. Monkey hunting could become an important measure to control this condition. Monkey hunting not only helps protect farms from their destruction, but also ensures food sources for the community and maintains a stable economic life. Additionally, controlling monkey populations also helps prevent the spread of disease and protect human health. However, monkey hunting needs to comply with regulations and laws on environmental and wildlife protection to ensure sustainability and protect other animals from being affected. Monkey hunting should not be considered an absolute solution, but needs to be combined with other measures such as establishing monkey sanctuaries and educating the community on how to live in harmony with them. Next is the wild boar, an animal native to Europe, which was brought to the United States for the original purpose of hunting and entertainment. However, no one could have expected that they would quickly adapt to the new environment and become one of the invasive species of concern in the country. The wild boar's adaptation not only benefits them, but also causes many problems for agriculture and the environment. Wild predation often destroys crops and orchards, reducing yields and harvests for farmers. This infestation not only causes economic loss, but also threatens the community's food source, because they not only steal food from farms, but also compete with wild animals, causing damage to the ecosystem. Furthermore, wild boars' adaptations are not limited to destroying crops, but also polluting the environment. They often have difficulty disposing of waste, and their consumption patterns can pollute the environment and harm water sources. to control wild boar numbers and reduce their impact. There are a number of measures that can be taken. Using traps is a traditional method to help control their numbers in specific areas. In addition, hunting wild boars is also an effective method to reduce their existence in the wild. However, this needs to comply with environmental and wildlife protection rules and regulations. It should be noted that controlling wild boar populations needs to be done in a considered manner to ensure sustainability and protect other animal species from being affected. At the same time, it is necessary to research and apply other solutions to protect the natural environment in agriculture. Although wild boars originated for recreational and hunting purposes, they have become a worrying threat to agriculture and the environment. Managing and controlling their numbers is an important task to protect human lives and livelihoods. What do you think about America's way of dealing with wild boars? Please share your ideas on how to deal with wild boars in the comments section below. Since just 13 wild rabbits were brought to Australia from England in 1859 by a wealthy man named Thomas Austin. Their overpopulation has caused many negative problems for nature and agriculture. Governments and farmers in Australia have used a variety of measures for more than 100 years to control wild rabbits, from fencing to extermination. Burroughs has implemented biological control measures, even injecting viruses into rabbits and releasing them back into the wild. However, with favorable living conditions and rapid reproduction, the number of wild rabbits in Australia continues to increase rapidly. Although at one time up to 98% of the total number of wild rabbits increased rapidly, female wild rabbits, once exterminated, usually begin reproducing as soon as they reach 5 to 6 months of age. Currently, female wild rabbits in Australia usually give birth to 4 litters. Each litter has about 7 to 10 babies. They hide mainly in squirrel burrows and are only allowed to leave when the mother rabbit feels safe. Baby rabbits will feed on their mother's milk for about 4 weeks before transitioning to solid food. According to research by the Invasive Species Solutions Centre in Australia, Most wild rabbits will separate from their mothers when they reach a certain stage. After about 4 to 5 weeks, these wild rabbits are weaned and begin a new independent life. They will burrow and live wherever there is a food source and less disturbance, such as a backyard garden or on a hillside. Basically, any place in Australia can become an ideal habitat for them. Currently, there are approximately 287 million wild rabbits in Australia, with about 177 million rabbits being born each year. These hundreds of millions of rabbits are distributed across 71% of the country's mainland, and they have the ability to burrow naturally. While young wild rabbits are often preferred prey for carnivores like feral cats or dingoes, the number of rabbits killed each year by predators is only a small fraction of the total rabbit population in the area. The animal is adaptable except in areas with a lot of clay and sand, such as in northeastern South Australia. Currently, New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria are the states with the largest wild rabbit populations in Australia, with New South Wales home to approximately 65 million wild rabbits. The negative impact of hundreds of millions of wild rabbits on Australia's ecosystem includes the decline of natural vegetation and grasslands, linked to overgrazing by wild rabbits. Just one wild rabbit can make the entire lawn of an international standard football field indestructible. An adult wild rabbit typically weighs about 3.3 pounds and needs to consume 7% of its body weight each day. The burrowing habits of hundreds of millions of wild rabbits in Australia not only cause serious erosion and destruction of the landscapes in which they live, but also create other negative impacts on the environment. Competition with native animals in the fight for food is also a major problem presented by wild rabbits, the impact of which poses a serious challenge to the ecosystem and native animals in Australia. Threatening some 322 plant species and posing a major challenge to ecology and agriculture. Australia's wild rabbit population is 11 times larger than the country's population and costs the government more than $215 million a year. Australia, with the problem of wild rabbits rampant, the Australian government allows anyone to hunt them in unlimited numbers and encourages people to organize hunts to reduce the number of this invasive species. Each of these cute stray cats can kill up to 1,000 native animals each year. This situation is getting worse, and increased pressure from feral cats could quickly lead to other animals being pushed out of the ecosystem. Australia's National Science Agency SASO has reported that each year, feral cats kill an average of 1.8 billion animals in Australia, equivalent to about 2,000 native animals every minute. Aware of this situation, the Australian government has allowed citizens to participate in wildcat hunting activities. But this can only be done with a hunting license and in strict compliance with government regulations. The goal is to reduce the number of feral cats in the area, maintain the ecosystem, and ensure safe and effective hunting. In 2023, approximately 21,000 cats were euthanized in an effort to reduce the feral cat population. Night hunting is practiced, with many feral cats hunting possums in the mountains and others hunting at night in remote and arid regions of Australia. The hunting instinct of wild cats makes them work effectively at night, but they are unaware that there are eyes watching them and guns aimed at them to optimize the effectiveness of hunting wild cats. Many people also participate in night hunting. It is a law of nature. To catch a predator, you must appear when they are hunting. During the hunt, farmers can use means such as guns to end the threat of feral cats. However, the encroachment of entire feral cat populations continues. Their claws have penetrated deep into Australia's ecosystem, especially in autumn when food is scarce. Feral cats will hunt small animals to secure a meal, and they even move close to residential areas in search of food. Controlling feral cats becomes a challenge in locating them. Hunting feral cats requires a lot of effort. Hunters often use specialized lighting systems combined with infrared lights, helping them clearly see the target and location of wild cats during night hunts. However, things are not so simple, because these cats are very clever and sensitive. They have the ability to sense their surroundings quickly, along with good night vision. Once they have identified the target, they quickly rush in to catch their prey. Therefore, hunters need to be extremely cautious, because wild cats can run away or even attack if detected. A night hunting group usually needs at least 2 people to support each other, and everyone must hide quietly, observe and wait to spot the target. They move their hunting gear towards their intended target and carry it back to their body. This is not only an arduous hunt, but also brings exciting experiences. With the feeling of not knowing when wildcats will appear, the excitement from discovering and defeating them is something that will definitely make you happy. This joy comes not from killing, but from the clear awareness that each shot can help stem the encroachment of feral cat populations. At least, discourage them. In addition to hunting feral cats, trapping feral cats is also allowed in all parts of Australia, with the goal of reducing the number of aggressive predators. Although feral cats have only been present in Australia for about 200 years, they have left a destructive mark on the Australian landscape in recent times. Australian farmers have strong plans to limit the invasion of wild cats, proving their determination in the fight against these cute-looking killers. Hunting methods include using rifles, traps, and hunting dogs. The combination of these methods depends on the specific conditions and scale of the agricultural areas. Using a rifle is the most popular of these strategies. It requires technique and hunting skills from farmers or professional hunting groups. Traps and hunting dogs are also integrated, although less frequently used, but still very effective, especially in areas with large fields such as corn, wheat, peanuts, and vegetable fields.
This is interesting. Oh!
Implementing these measures not only reduces the likelihood of crop damage, but also effectively protects the agricultural sector. Flexibility in choosing methods and integrating them based on local conditions and scale of production can be the key to achieving high performance in controlling pheasant populations and minimizing the negative impacts of they. To deal with pheasant when organizing hunts, choosing the right place and time is important, usually hunting in the early morning or evening. Hunters often approach by observing pheasant and following tracks to determine where they commonly appear. Their presence can vary depending on environmental conditions and management plans, but estimates from the United States Department of Agriculture indicate that about 3 million pheasants are hunted each year. Ghost hunting is an important part of the pigeon control strategy in South Texas, where they became a serious invasive species after being introduced from Mexico and Central America in the 19th century. This invasion is not only by its ability to adapt to new habitats, but also due to its rapid reproductive rate and lack of natural enemies. Area South Texas pigeons have adapted well to a variety of environments, including the city. Rapid fertility is a prominent feature of the South Texas pigeon, with the ability to lay 2 to 3 clutches per year, each clutch containing 2 to 4 eggs. This is particular to the environment in the United States, which lacks natural enemies for them, allowing them to grow without difficulty. The agricultural industry in the United States is facing a major challenge due to damage caused by South Texas pigeons. They are suspected of feeding on many important crops such as wheat, corn, peanuts, and sunflowers. According to estimates by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the total damage they cause to agriculture amounts to about $700 million per year. control the situation, pigeon hunts are often organized, especially in South Texas. These hunts are often organized by nonprofit organizations or government agencies, aiming to predict harvests and minimize their impact. The hunting process typically involves gathering at predetermined locations, using a shotgun to shoot the birds, and then collecting the captured South Texas doves. The number of birds hunted annually in the United States ranges from 50 to 100 million, with high concentrations in states such as Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. In addition to hunting, there are other control measures implemented to minimize the impact of South Texas doves. This situation, along with the Jess wild snow dove problem, has become a serious challenge to agriculture and the environment in the United States. Millions of bats are creating a major challenge for farmers and ranchers in the United States, posing significant economic and environmental problems. Solutions to control and minimize the negative impact of bat populations on agriculture and the environment is an important topic for discussion. Each year, bat attacks not only bring the risk of rabies and dangerous viruses, but also create significant negative consequences for agriculture and rural economies. The U.S., the Environmental Protection Agency, has estimated economic losses of up to $700 million per year due to invasive bat populations. This attack puts great pressure on farmers, from reduced milk yield to reduced animal weight, while also increasing care costs. This poses a serious challenge to both agricultural enterprises and the stability of the rural economy. Although there are places like Texas that are famous for bat hunting, the sudden increase in bat populations poses new challenges. A coordinated approach, combining environmental management and the application of new technology, can help reduce damage and ensure a balance between the survival of bat populations and the sustainability of agriculture. This includes developing unique and effective solutions to control bat populations, protecting farmers and the environment from the negative effects of this worrying attack. Please share your opinions on possible solutions to face this challenge. Invasive bat populations in the United States not only pose a health threat, but also create uniquely dangerous situations for farming and ranching communities. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, every year at least 200 people fall victim to attacks by these bats. The most worrying thing is when they often attack humans while they are sleeping or working in the barn. Rabies, a threat to both humans and animals, is a dangerous consequence of these attacks. Bats are the natural host of the rabies virus and are capable of transmitting the disease to humans and other animals through attacks and bites. In the event of a bite, seeing a doctor immediately for rabies vaccination becomes important, and it is considered the only way to prevent the spread of rabies in agricultural environments. Additionally, bat populations also pose a threat to crops. They often chew leaves and fruits, causing significant damage in agricultural production, especially in farm areas located near dark areas where bats fly. The degree of sky cover during times when bats are typically active, especially at night, creates difficulties for agricultural environments and increases the risk of crop damage. Fruit eating by bats, especially at night when they are active, is causing challenges and changes in communities. This problem not only affects farmers' income, but also has a major impact on food supply and nutritional value for the community. Every day, the threat from bat populations becomes increasingly serious, posing major challenges to the security and sustainability of urban environments. The surge in bat species adapted to urban life has placed significant pressure on urban areas. They looking for stable and easy to find places to find food have become quite a challenge and have a significant impact on urban life. Their invasion not only causes nuisance to the community with noise at night, but also has the potential to transmit dangerous diseases to humans. With nocturnal habits, bats often fly around buildings and residential areas in the evening, creating a feeling of insecurity and discomfort. This condition not only affects residents' sleep, but also causes problems with daily activities. In addition, bats can also cause negative impacts on people's property. The act of identifying wooden objects and damaging the roof not only causes economic loss, but also reduces the quality of life of residents. To deal with this problem, some areas have adopted the method of using nets to cover crops. This method is done by stretching nets over the growing areas that need protection. These nets, often made from a variety of materials such as nylon, polypropylene, or steel, need to be designed to be small enough to prevent bats from reaching the tree, but large enough to allow light and air circulation. These are specific and effective measures in minimizing the negative impacts of bat populations on urban life in the United States. Mesh has become an effective solution widely used in many fields and especially in states such as California, Arizona, Texas, and Florida. According to estimates, the net crop area in the United States is up to 500,000 acres. Netting is an effective method of preventing bats from attacking crops. but it also comes with some disadvantages. A study by the University of California, Davis has shown that netting can reduce bat damage by up to 90%, but that comes with challenges. Mulching can be expensive and can hinder crop growth, as well as make harvesting difficult. Furthermore, bats can carry many dangerous diseases, from rabies, Chaga disease to Hansen's disease. For people who work in agricultural environments and are exposed to bats, protecting themselves from infection is extremely important. Wearing gloves is essential, and when coming into contact with bats, it is important to repel them immediately. In the event of a bite, cleaning the wound with soap and water is important to prevent rabies and protect personal health. The most important first step in dealing with the risk of a bat invasion is to immediately go to a medical facility for rabies vaccination. Rabies vaccination is considered the only measure to prevent rabies, especially important because it directly affects human life. In addition to reducing the risk of bat invasion, people also need to limit the use of pesticides and increase awareness of environmental protection. Implementing these safety measures not only protects human health, but also contributes to maintaining ecological balance and keeping the living environment safer. Protecting bats is not only a matter of human health, but also of environmental sustainability. If you have any of these experiences or remedies, please share your story with us in the comments section below. We can learn from each other and create innovative solutions to deal with invasive bat populations. If you find this video useful and interesting, please click the like and subscribe button to together build a community that cares about environmental protection. Although the sudden increase in elk populations has caused many challenges, farmers and regulators are implementing many measures to deal with this encroachment. Elk, the largest mammals in North America and Europe, attract attention with their impressive size and enormous strength. Elk weigh up to 1,800 pounds and can grow up to 7.5 feet tall, making them one of the strongest creatures on land, even surpassing the size of a small truck. Appearing in the United States about 10,000 years ago, elk have experienced a gradual decline in populations, but recently, the population has increased sharply and they have migrated to southern areas. The sudden growth of the elk population has created many problems, especially in the area of transportation. Each year, There are about 1,500 traffic accidents caused by moose, affecting rural and suburban areas especially seriously. The economic costs associated with these accidents are estimated to be as high as $1.3 billion per year, including repair and medical costs. To address this problem, measures such as strengthening habitat management and promoting population control programs are being implemented. However, the challenge remains great, requiring close collaboration between communities, regulatory agencies, and environmental experts. Not only do elk damage the agricultural industry, but they also have a devastating impact on farmers and growers. They like to eat important crops and fruits such as grass, corn, beans, apples, and grapes. According to a U.S. report, total losses to the agricultural industry from Fish and Wildlife Services caused by elk are estimated to be up to $500 million per year. In addition, elk also pose risks to visitor safety in forested areas. Each year, there are about 200 attacks by them on forest tourists, especially in areas such as Alaska, Washington, Oregon, and Montana. To ensure safety when driving in elk areas, it is important to slow down and remain aware of your surroundings. Avoid making noise to alert them to your presence, especially when they are guarding the flock. If you encounter a moose, stay calm and avoid contact. In case they become aggressive, stand still and leave slowly to avoid conflicts and ensure everyone's safety. Compliance with safety measures is key to reducing the risk of accidents and attacks from moose, especially for drivers living in rural and forested areas. Slowing down while driving and remaining attentive to your surroundings can protect people from unwanted situations. Elk hunting is a popular population management method widely used in many countries around the world, including the United States, Canada, and Europe. This method not only helps control the elk population, but also ensures balance and stability in the ecosystem. However, elk hunting licensing regulations can vary depending on the ecosystem and regulations of each country and state. Most importantly, players need to comply with safety rules, including a minimum age of usually 18 years or older and completion of hunting safety training. The licensing process also involves paying a fee, which typically ranges from a few dozen to a few $100s. However, these costs are often considered to outweigh the benefits of controlling elk populations. When participating in hunting activities, players need to pay attention to some important things to ensure safety. Choosing a safe hunting location and using hunting equipment properly is very important. Timing also plays a role as elk are often active in the early morning and late afternoon. According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, approximately 200,000 elk are hunted each year, contributing to population control and reduction. However, to achieve the best results, players need to conduct hunting activities responsibly and safely, while adhering to basic requirements for appropriate clothing and food. Information from the Fish and Wildlife Service indicates that to achieve success in preventing the growth of invasive species populations, solutions such as hunting have been implemented. If you have another idea or solution that you believe is better, please share your opinion below. Don't forget to discuss, subscribe to follow upcoming videos, and please share this video to spread the word to your friends. Do you agree with these measures? If so, leave the number 1. Otherwise, if you disagree, leave the number 0 and share your opinion in the comment section below. The wild creatures that are on, you can find food in many different types. The environment when the food source in the forest where they live gradually dries up. Agricultural farms become ideal destinations providing diverse food sources, including crops and agricultural products, while pigs are capable of consuming most crops such as corn, wheat, potatoes, and all other crops. However, they are more suited to eating corn and wheat because this is their best food source to hide and consume directly from corn and wheat. Fields are a huge challenge for farmers. In fact, the damage caused by wild pigs can be huge for farmers. The agricultural industry and local farmers are estimated to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars each year, a significant amount for each particular region, the fields where their lands were severely damaged, leading to huge losses in yields and wildlife income. Wild boars have the ability to travel long distances and move at astonishing speeds of up to 31 mph, posing a significant challenge for farmers and ranchers in areas near forests or their natural habitats. The wild boar's ability to travel long distances is an important factor that helps them easily penetrate farm areas, where they search for food and new homes. This can have serious consequences for agriculture and the lives of local communities. Problems for farmers and businesses agree, especially when wild pig invasions take place in herds. Wild boar herds can cause rapid and severe damage to farms, and can breach fence systems and cause damage to farm infrastructure. Protecting farms against wild boar intrusion is an important part of protecting agriculture and the lives of local communities. Canada is facing significant challenges as many farms do not have effective protection measures to prevent animal intrusion and even lack sturdy fences. Some farms are not equipped with strong enough protection measures, such as high and sturdy fences to prevent wild pigs from entering. These vulnerabilities facilitate the entry of feral pigs and have significant consequences for farmers and agriculture. The rapid reproduction rate of wild boars is one of the main reasons why they invaded Canadian farms. Female wild boars are capable of giving birth to 2 litters per year. Each litter can give birth to 20 to 40 cubs, causing great challenges in managing and predicting their food sources. The number of wild pigs is increasing rapidly, and their need for food is also increasing. When wild boar numbers exceed acceptable levels, they are forced to seek new food sources, and farms are often easy to find in stable places for them to move in herds. This can cause great damage in just a short time. This encroachment not only affects agriculture, but also threatens biodiversity and ecological balance in the areas where they operate. To deal with feral pig infestations and protect farms, a number of effective and careful measures have been put in place. Building a solid fence is a basic but extremely effective measure. The fence should be constructed from sturdy material, at least 3.5 feet high and buried at least 1 foot deep into the ground. Most importantly, the fence should be inspected regularly to ensure there are no holes or damaged traps. This is an effective way to catch wild pigs, especially single pigs. Additionally, there are different types of traps such as tunnel traps, spike traps, and rope traps. The location of the trap also needs to be chosen carefully, near food and water sources to increase attractiveness. Hunting is an effective way to reduce the number of wild boar in the area. However, it must be done safely and responsibly to avoid endangering humans and other animals. Do you like Can I Go Hunting Wild Boar? If so, please leave number 1 right away. consumption of wild boar meat is emerging as a measure that can contribute to minimizing damage caused by invasive wildlife. Wild boar meat not only brings high nutritional value, but is also loved by many people. Popularizing wild pork could help reduce the need for hunting and trapping to control feral pig populations, while also creating new income opportunities for communities. However, it should be noted that wild pork exploitation needs to be managed sustainably to avoid overfishing and impacts on wild pigs. It is necessary to establish environmental protection principles and standards to ensure that the consumption of wild pork does not harm the natural environment. The handling, processing, and preservation of wild pork needs to be done properly to avoid the risk of food poisoning and depletion of natural resources. Consumption of wild pork also needs to be strictly controlled. Have you ever eaten wild boar meat? Please share your feelings about wild boar meat with us. Wild pigs are omnivores because of their ability to consume a variety of food sources, which creates risks for the agricultural industry because they cause significant damage to vegetables. Fields include newly planted and growing fields damage that wild pigs can cause in vegetable fields, including digging destruction fields damage leafy and tuber crops, reducing yield. Wild pigs can carry pathogens into fields that can spread and reduce the quality of newly planted vegetables. Wild fields can destroy young plants and eat seeds, creating unique challenges in plant growth and germination. The impact of damage caused by feral pigs is not limited to the local level, but also significantly affects the agricultural sector worldwide. According to estimates, this damage costs the U.S. agricultural industry about 1.5 billion USD each year, 1 billion euro in Europe, and 1 billion euro in Asia, including the loss of many vegetables such as carrots and potatoes, cabbage, cucumbers, and even rice cultivation. Damage to agricultural land comes not only from digging, which reduces fertility, but also from pollution, which increases the risk of environmental pollution. The problem of destruction caused by feral pigs is becoming a significant challenge in determining the exact number of cities affected each year. It is estimated that hundreds of cities in Europe, Asia, and North America are facing this problem, creating major challenges for communities and environmental management. Urban areas attacked by wild pigs have many problems, from eating leaves and twigs to flowers and stems, damaging the beauty and value of the garden. The problems don't stop there. Their burrowing behavior can damage landscaping and drainage systems and leave behind fertilizer and waste, creating environmental pollution problems. Wild pigs are not only a threat to the environment, but also pose a traffic safety risk. With the ability to suddenly appear on the road, they become the cause of many traffic accidents. According to research by the U.S. Federal Highway Administration, there are an estimated 500 accidents each year involving wild pigs. Although exact figures cannot be determined, it could be as many as thousands of cases each year. One of the most important problems is the destruction of trees. Wild pigs not only eat leaves, but also attack tree trunks and tubers, reducing soil cover and causing soil erosion and affecting water sources. Related problems create a chain of major negative impacts. In addition, wild species also cause environmental pollution problems when they leave dung and waste in the forest, which affects the cleanliness of the habitat and pose a risk of contamination to other species. Not only is this a physical threat, but bison species also have the ability to transmit diseases. The fact that wild pigs transmit diseases to other animals creates additional risks to forest ecosystems. Until now, it has been difficult to accurately quantify the amount of forest destroyed by feral pigs. But estimates suggest that millions of hectares of forest could be destroyed every year. The consequences of the devastation caused by feral pigs are not only reduced biodiversity, but also linked to global problems such as global warming and the risk of natural disasters. Hunting wild pigs is a common method of controlling their populations around the world. There are many different approaches, including daytime hunting, nighttime hunting, and the use of drones. Hunting wild pigs in the fields at night has proven to be an effective solution. This animal is adapted to nocturnal activities, creating favorable conditions for hunting. This tactic often uses headlights and rifles to enhance hunting ability. In particular, this method has contributed significantly to the reduction of wild pig populations worldwide. According to estimates, this decline could be up to about 20% over the past 20 years in the United States. Hunters converge when night falls. Then they move to the hunting area. Headlights are used to detect and track herds of wild pigs. Once located, hunters use hunting tools to capture wild pig carcasses, then collect and bring them home. Although hunting at night is effective, it also carries many risks. Hunters need training and experience to ensure safety during this process. In addition, it is necessary to continue to seek and apply other solutions to prevent the development of invasive species, while ensuring environmental and ecological considerations. An animal considered a distinctive symbol of Australia. Can you guess what it is? That's right, it's the kangaroo. Known for their powerful hind legs, long tails, and incredibly agile hopping ability, kangaroos primarily inhabit vast grassland environments and are commonly found throughout various regions of Australia. Kangaroos have a distinctive reproductive process, accompanied by unique characteristics of marsupials. The gestation period of a kangaroo lasts from 29 to 36 days, contributing to the issue of kangaroo overpopulation. With the significant increase in the kangaroo population, the scarcity of food pushes them to forage even in urban areas and cities. This phenomenon leads to their frequent appearance on roads, freely hopping across streets, and even posing risks by attacking pedestrians, resulting in numerous unwanted and perilous situations. The kangaroo population is reaching record highs in suburban areas, and to address this issue, officials propose the use of hunting as a method. This is not only a reasonable control measure, but also creates a source of meat as a resource that can be commercially traded for profit, supported and allowed by law. In Australia, kangaroo meat is highly favored and widely available in supermarkets. Kangaroo meat is considered a nutritious food source, rich in protein and low in fat, making it economically valuable in the food industry. Have you ever had the opportunity to enjoy some delicious dishes made from kangaroo meat? The problem of invasive foxes in Australia is also the most worrying problem right now. You want to know how Australians deal with these foxes? The fox population has exploded in Australia, with an estimated 10 million foxes currently living in the country, especially concentrated in agricultural and urban areas. Human influence has played an important role in the rise of this fox species, causing many challenges to ecological balance and biodiversity. As omnivores, foxes hunt mainly at night, using their agility to easily reach their prey. This not only threatens native species such as rabbits, birds, and rodents, but also causes heavy losses to the agricultural industry in Australia, estimated to be up to 100 million USD per year. Imagine you are fox hunting at night. In the darkness, you hear the sound of locusts coming from the deep woods, signifying the presence of foxes. You and your teammates carefully advance into the darkness. Each step is gentle so as not to stimulate any prey. As you wait for the right moment, a mysterious black figure appears from the darkness, with eyes sparkling in the night. You grip the gun tightly and wait to attack. It's a fox hunt full of thrill and anticipation, leaving you excited and eager for every shot. Fox hunting is not only limited to night hours, but can also be done during the day. All other active habits occur mainly in the evening. There are many areas where foxes are active mainly during the day, creating opportunities for challenging hunts. Fall and winter are considered ideal for fox hunting. During the period of giving birth and taking care of their young, foxes become more active and easier to encounter. Every year, millions of foxes become the subject of hunting, with estimates of up to 2 million. This is not only an environmental problem, but also a major threat to agriculture and domesticated animals in Australia. So you know how farmers handle these animals. There are still other invasive animals, such as elephants, monkeys, leopards, jackals, and geese that are also a concern for farmers. Please subscribe to the channel to continue following the hunter's actions. See you again! In the United States, we face the wild boar nuisance, while in Australia, the wild rabbit nuisance has become prevalent. So, where did these wild rabbits come from? Thomas Austin, an Englishman who chose Australia as his settlement, brought along 24 rabbits to release into the wild, hoping to create a hunting hobby for himself. But he didn't know that this seemingly unintentional action would lead to serious consequences that later generations had to deal with. A horrifying event unfolded as the rabbit population began to skyrocket exponentially. Within just 70 years, starting from the initial 24 rabbits, an astonishing number of 10 billion appeared, a remarkable reproductive record among mammals on our planet. The sudden explosion of the wild rabbit population and its negative impact on the natural environment and agriculture in Australia has always been a major challenge for the government and many farmers. They are trying to find appropriate solutions and control measures to deal with this situation. Currently, the government allows anyone to hunt wild rabbits without any limit on the number. This means that people are free to hunt wild rabbits to control their population, an action entirely in accordance with legal regulations. Additionally, the government encourages individuals to organize wild rabbit hunting events, especially in areas showing signs of a sudden increase in this species. These measures are implemented to minimize the negative impact of wild rabbits on the environment and agriculture in Australia. Hundreds of thousands of hornet nests in Europe destroyed hundreds of honeybee nests in just one night. They attack humans and fruit farms, causing productivity and fruit quality to decline. Right now, let's go with Catfarmer to some areas in Europe to see what European farmers have done to prevent and destroy these bees. Leave number 1 and start a video now. According to research by Wageningen University in the Netherlands, Asian giant hornets have been identified as a potential hazard. They can cause damage of up to 10% of fruit production. In Europe, in the worst case, the damage rate can increase up to 30%. The wasp threat is not limited to affecting fruit healing, but is also a serious risk. Due to the honey industry and related products, wasp nests are capable of destroying hundreds of honeybee nests in one night. According to research by the European Agency for Agriculture and Food Administration, giant hornets can cause up to 70% loss of honey. Production in Europe not only threatens plants and honeybees, but Asian giant hornet venom also poses significant risks to human health, especially for children and the elderly. According to Public Health England, between 2004 and 2023, 13 people in England were stung by giant hornets, including 2 that were not economically viable according to estimates by the Department of Agriculture, European Industry and Food. Total total damage caused by giant hornets could reach 600 million per year in Europe. The product industry may lose about 250 million per 1 year, while the agricultural industry may lose about 350 million per 1 year. Up to now, there are many different methods of catching wasps, and among them, pheromone traps have emerged as an effective solution. And catching wasps through the stimulation of hormone-like chemicals. Although this method not only keeps costs stable, but is also very easy to implement with a relatively low cost and simple process. Traps have become an effective tool in wasp control, especially in areas where they are frequent and harmful to agriculture. Applying these measures in areas where wasps live can bring great benefits, not only for protecting crops, but also ensuring the safety of people living nearby. European farmers approach the removal of wasp nests with special care to ensure safety by using professional protective gear. Protective equipment includes helmets with visors, long waterproof gloves, waterproof pants and boots. In addition, they have gas masks, goggles and body armor that can be used to protect the entire body. Asian giant hornets frequently nest in forested areas, such as forest parks and home gardens. Beehives are often built in high and discreet locations, such as on trees in caves or artificial structures, before catching wasps. Experts need to conduct thorough preparations, including contacting authorities to ensure a valid wasp relocation permit is being researched. To catch wasps, you need to prepare adequate protective gear, equipment, and choose the right time to minimize risks. Experts estimate that about 30,000 wasp nests are harvested in Europe each year, although this number can fluctuate depending on the wasp invasion. The situation, once the wasps have been harvested, can be handled by killing them to be turned into food or used for medical research purposes. In addition to catching them after implementing control measures, special measures are being taken in Europe to control Asian giant hornets. This includes planting aggressive plants to attract them, using sound emitters or scents to repel them, as well as developing wasps that are resistant to their toxins. These measures are being researched and tested to ensure effectiveness and safety. In some highlands, cleaning the nest sometimes becomes a bit difficult, However, after receiving information from the community, experts will proceed to handle this problem. The main method for removing wasp nests is to use chemical sprays on the nest. This chemical has the ability to kill bees right at the nest before they have a chance to fly out of the nest. To do this, people often use long chemical pipes to bring chemicals to where they need to be treated. Many experts also apply drone technology to guide fire spraying and process honeycomb treatment after fire is sprayed into the honeycomb. After about 5 to 10 minutes, the honeycomb can be treated. Harvesting is not difficult. However, implementing these measures requires professionalism and careful control, which is not a task that any citizen should attempt, due to the high safety risk for yourself and those around you. Some residents of Europe have adopted the method of burning beehives with fire, a method that not only harms our friends, but is also potentially dangerous. In particular, mountainous areas and old forests, where trees are very dense, can cause the risk of forest fires, affecting the ecosystem and the relationship between humans and the environment. Hello, my friend. What will happen when your farm and city are invaded and attacked by millions of animals? Let's continue to follow how German farmers handle this problem. In Germany, we know that wild boar is an invasive species with the highest percentage in Germany. Wild boars have distinctive features that include large ears, short tails, and downy hair on their backs, creating a spike-like appearance. They invade residential areas, damage urban landscapes, and cause traffic accidents. At the same time, wild boars also pollute the environment and threaten the local biosphere. Furthermore, wild boars can carry at least 30 pathogens and 37 parasites, threatening human health. A famous example in Germany was the discovery of salmonella in pork samples, causing a widespread epidemic. Investigations revealed that the pigs were raised in inappropriate and dirty conditions, allowing the bacteria to spread in other food farms, posing a risk to public health. So, what do people do to overcome the situation? Certainly German people always prioritize the use of a gun. Most Germans have guns in a hunt. You need a hunting license, and that license will allow you to hunt animals. The figure is recorded on paper. legal here, and states will ban hunting. Do you see this as a way to handle it? Think this is a good method? Leave one below in the comments. The United States are also being a challenge. The appearance of bears cause notable problems, especially when they casually attack pedestrians and cause heavy damage in urban areas. Agricultural sector, especially cornfields. This situation safety and negatively affects agriculture, requiring government intervention to balance species protection and community. Faced from the bears, American community wanted to adopt the method of capturing and completely exterminating them. This decision is not only to protect the lives of the bear, but also to maintain the natural by zoos where they can be managed safely and effectively. Do you see it as a humane way of handling it? Let us know your opinion in the comment section. As you all know, wild boars are wild animals, increasingly invading farms, posing dangers to both livestock and humans. This is because, in addition to natural resources, they face threats, and their food is becoming scarce. They approach livestock farming areas to compete for food and animals. Wild boar is a very aggressive animal. Even hunting dogs can be attacked by them. Many situations can be both amusing and alarming when humans unintentionally provoke wild boars, leading to unpredictable attacks. In some instances, daring wild boars even charge into people's homes, causing panic among residents. The North American wild boar, also known as feral hog or wild pig, is a common species of wildlife in North America. They have a large physique, sharp snouts, and are a natural predatory species. The number of offspring in each litter can vary from 3 to 8. This may depend on factors such as environmental conditions and food resources. Some wild boars roam freely on the streets, scavenging for food scraps. To control the wild boar population, people are encouraged to hunt and reduce their numbers. Do you know how they handle wild boars after shooting them? Licensed hunters can use hunting dogs to aid in the elimination of wild boars. Americans often participate in wild boar hunting activities in many locations across the country. Where there is a diversity of natural landscapes and forest environments, one of the most popular states for this practice is Texas, with strict management and a large feral hog population. Florida is also a popular destination, with rich forests and diverse hunting areas. States such as Georgia, South Carolina, and California also offer many opportunities for feral hog hunting enthusiasts. The southern and central regions of the United States are also quite popular destinations among the hunting community. You are not allowed to mirror any action in this video. Encouraging the consumption of wild boar meat in the United States has become increasingly popular in recent years, especially as the population of wild boars has risen, leading to environmental and agricultural issues. People are becoming more aware of the nutritional value and flavor of wild boar meat compared to commercially raised pork. This trend may have started around the late 20th century and has become more widespread in the past decade. Consumers are placing a growing emphasis on eating clean and natural, and wild boar meat meets these requirements as the animals live in a natural environment, have a diverse diet, and a freer lifestyle. Furthermore, efforts to reduce the wild boar population, especially in areas experiencing excessive growth, have led to a trend of promoting the use of wild boar meat as a means of controlling their numbers without wasting resources. Hello friends! In recent years, the number of invasive baboons in Iowa has increased significantly. From 2021 to 2023, the number of baboons in the city increased from 1 million to 3 million, indicating the rapid spread of the species. To deal with this encroachment, what measures are local authorities taking? Leave number 1 in the comments and start the video now. First, invasive baboons in Iowa typically originate from Africa and Asia. Initially, they live naturally in wild areas such as forests, grasslands, and savannas. However, due to population growth, habitat loss, and lack of food sources, they are forced to move to other areas in search of survival. Drought is one of the main reasons why they have to leave their original habitat. This situation directly affects their food and water sources, forcing them to cross major highways to enter residential areas. Often traveling in groups of 5 to 20 baboons create concern for the community. Can you differentiate between baboons and macaques? Please share your experiences in the comments section below. When baboons are introduced to urban areas, baboons often become more aggressive than in the wild. Starvation due to lack of food in the forest makes them more reckless and aggressive in finding new sources of supply. Looking at their skinny photos, you can see they have been starved for days. The first area to note the presence of invasive baboons in Iowa was the city of Davenport in 2018. They then quickly spread to neighboring areas, including the capital Des Moines. They often directly attack people's living areas by climbing on the roof, going through windows, and even breaking doors to enter the house. Estimates of property damage in Iowa cities run into the millions of dollars each year. The baboon invasion situation in Iowa is causing serious negative impacts on transportation and public safety. Baboons often appear on the roads, causing traffic jams and possibly leading to accidents. In 2022, in Iowa, a baboon invasion caused more than 20 hours of traffic jams on Interstate 80, one of the state's major highways. This also has a significant impact on production, business activities, and people's lives, with more than 50 car accidents and at least 15 cases of patients injured in car crashes involving monkeys. Doghead. Traffic accidents caused by baboons are becoming increasingly serious. A horrifying story from a woman in Iowa is proof of this. Why do baboons invade cars? According to information from the newspaper, baboons are curious animals and can be attracted to new objects such as cars. One morning in July 2023, Sarah Jones, a resident of Des Moines, Iowa, had a terrifying experience while driving to work. Suddenly, she heard a loud noise coming from the front of the car. When she looked closer, she discovered a panicked baboon jumping into the front of her car and huddled in the engine compartment. Terrified, Sarah quickly steered the car aside on the road and turned off the engine, worry for both her and the baboon's safety. She decided to call wildlife control. After about 30 minutes, the agency's staff arrived to handle the situation. After the incident, staff successfully rescued the baboon. Maybe the monkey was attracted by the smell of food in the car and tried to get in to eat. Luckily, Sarah handled the situation calmly and no accident happened. Do you think Sarah's solution is safe and effective? If you agree, please comment number 2 below the comment section. The most effective way to control baboon invasions in Iowa is through humane measures and sterilization. Efforts by animal protection organizations and local authorities have resulted in the successful sterilization of more than 5,000 baboons by 2022. As a result, Iowa's invasive baboon population decreased by 20% in 1 year, while property damage in the city also decreased by 15%. The baboon sterilization procedure is performed by qualified veterinarians and adheres to humane principles. They are taken to a light anesthetic area and have their fur cleaned in preparation for minor surgery. Surgical sterilization is performed by removing the ovaries or testicles, after which the incision is carefully sutured and sterilized with povidone. After completing the surgery, the baboon will be taken to the recovery room for the doctor to check his health. If no problems arise, they will be returned to the reserve. Before performing the process of sterilizing medical instruments, it is also extremely important. The sterilization process is an indispensable step in baboon sterilization surgery to ensure the safety and effectiveness of the procedure. First, the tools will be washed with soapy water to remove dirt and adhere to organic substances. They will then be soaked in a disinfectant, such as chlorhexidine gluconate or hexenios, to kill bacteria and viruses. The tools will then be sterilized using methods such as autoclaving at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Then, irradiating the tools with ultraviolet light to kill microorganisms and spores, ensuring safety and preventing infection, cross-contamination. Each baboon will be given its own medical kit, helping to limit the risk of transmitting infectious diseases such as HIV, hepatitis B and C from one baboon to another. Especially when the number of baboons in the Iowa area has reached 3 million. Local authorities had to use strong measures to deal with baboons by using bows and arrows to hunt them down. The advanced bow sighting device, Garmin Zero Bow, has been integrated with many features to effectively support hunting, especially baboon hunting. The Garmin Zero Bow tool can accurately measure the distance from your position to the target, helping you adjust the appropriate aiming angle to get an accurate first shot. When it comes to using bows and arrows for hunting, legal regulations and safety are very important. You need to ensure that you have a valid, licensed hunting operation and comply with safety regulations. The use of bows and arrows has proven to be very effective in dealing with aggressive invasive species such as baboons, thanks to the contributions of experienced hunters. A study in Illinois showed that the use of bows and arrows reduced the number of baboons in the study area by 50%, thanks to strict management by local authorities. This has helped reduce the level of damage to property and community morale. Hello friends! Did you know that Australia is facing one of the highest mammal extinction rates in the world? More than 70% of Australia's native animals cannot be found anywhere else on Earth. Therefore, every loss for Australia is also a loss for the world. One of the biggest threats to Australia's native species is the introduction of feral cats. Since just 13 wild rabbits were brought to Australia from England in 1859 by a wealthy man named Thomas Austin. Their overpopulation has caused many negative problems for nature and agriculture. Governments and farmers in Australia have used a variety of measures for more than 100 years to control wild rabbits, from fencing to extermination. Burroughs has implemented biological control measures, even injecting viruses into rabbits and releasing them back into the wild. However, with favorable living conditions and rapid reproduction, the number of wild rabbits in Australia continues to increase rapidly. Although at one time up to 98% of the total number of wild rabbits increased rapidly, female wild rabbits, once exterminated, usually begin reproducing as soon as they reach 5 to 6 months of age. Currently, female wild rabbits in Australia usually give birth to 4 litters. Each litter has about 7 to 10 babies. They hide mainly in squirrel burrows and are only allowed to leave when the mother rabbit feels safe. Baby rabbits will feed on their mother's milk for about 4 weeks before transitioning to solid food. According to research by the Invasive Species Solutions Center in Australia, most wild rabbits will separate from their mothers when they reach a certain stage. After about 4 to 5 weeks, these wild rabbits are weaned and begin a new independent life. They will burrow and live wherever there is a food source and less disturbance, such as a backyard garden or on a hillside. Basically, any place in Australia can become an ideal habitat for them. Currently, there are approximately 287 million wild rabbits in Australia, with about 177 million rabbits being born each year. These hundreds of millions of rabbits are distributed across 71% of the country's mainland, and they have the ability to burrow naturally. While young wild rabbits are often preferred prey for carnivores like feral cats or dingoes, the number of rabbits killed each year by predators is only a small fraction of the total rabbit population in the area. The animal is adaptable except in areas with a lot of clay and sand, such as in northeastern South Australia. Currently, New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria are the states with the largest wild rabbit populations in Australia, with New South Wales home to approximately 65 million wild rabbits. The negative impact of hundreds of millions of wild rabbits on Australia's ecosystem includes the decline of natural vegetation and grasslands, linked to overgrazing by wild rabbits. Just one wild rabbit can make the entire lawn of an international standard football field indestructible. An adult wild rabbit typically weighs about 3.3 pounds and needs to consume 7% of its body weight each day. The burrowing habits of hundreds of millions of wild rabbits in Australia not only cause serious erosion and destruction of the landscapes in which they live, but also create other negative impacts on the environment. Competition with native animals in the fight for food is also a major problem presented by wild rabbits, the impact of which poses a serious challenge to the ecosystem and native animals in Australia. Threatening some 322 plant species and posing a major challenge to ecology and agriculture. Australia's wild rabbit population is 11 times larger than the country's population and costs the government more than $215 million a year. Australia, with the problem of wild rabbits rampant, the Australian government allows anyone to hunt them in unlimited numbers and encourages people to organize hunts to reduce the number of this invasive species. In today's video, we will find out how Australian farmers are dealing with the problem of 6.3 million feral cats. If you are excited about this content, please leave your number 1 below in the comments section. Feral cats first appeared naturally in Australia in the 1850s. To date, The number of feral cats in Australia is estimated from 1.4 to 6.3 million. They have become an obsession for Australians, especially livestock farmers, because they are not only an invasive species but also prey on millions of native animals, creating ecological imbalance. Even though they belong to the same cat family, feral cats are not cute at all and are very aggressive. They have the ability to hunt patiently and adapt well to the environment, making it difficult for many native animals to survive with them. Watch the video to better understand how farmers are meeting this challenge and solving the feral cat problem in Australia. And feral cats not only cause a lot of damage, they are also linked to the extinction of 25 species of native small and medium-sized mammals, threatening the existence of more than 100 other native species in Australia. The annual predation impact of feral cats on native Australian wildlife is estimated to be huge, with 272 million birds, 470 million reptiles, and millions of other mammals killed, along with unknown losses to invertebrates and amphibians. These massacres frequently take place in the bush, but feral cats in town areas also cause significant losses. They are capable of injuring people and are often difficult to distinguish from domestic cats due to their agile bodies, sharp senses, and good hunting ability. Feral cats are suited to living alone and are often active at dawn and dusk. They are often located in sheltered places such as rabbit holes or bushes. Feral cat populations are self-sustaining and breed successfully, with females able to give birth to 2 litters per year. Young feral cats live with their mothers until about 7 months old, after which they disperse and live alone. This female gave birth to dozens of other litters of feral cats, contributing to the sudden increase in the number of feral cats. This situation is creating food shortages and threatening biodiversity in Australia. Let's take a look at the challenges that feral cats bring. In the wild, they tend to increase their hunting and attacking behavior to ensure survival. Like a leopard cutting through the desert, the light footsteps and sharp eyes of wild cats are directed at prey. These unfortunate ducks will become a meal for feral cats. Especially when they are hungry. Although birds are often the favorite targets of feral cats when they are hungry, the animal's resistance is often ineffective, and they fight desperately until the feral cats tear them apart. Wild cats are such strong people. They are small in size, but have enough attack power and ferocity to terrify their opponents. Feral cats not only attack wild animals, but also attack pets when given the opportunity. Naturally, your pet is no match for a wild hunter. If not stopped in time, things will get worse. The result will probably be similar to the confrontation with the duck or wild cat just now. Feral cats also pose a threat to human health because they can carry infectious diseases such as rabies and respiratory infections. Recognizing these risks, the Australian Feral Cat Reduction Action Plan has implemented direct measures such as trapping and baiting, supported by cameras to increase implementation effectiveness. However, developing awareness in the community about the risks and consequences of feral cat attacks is also considered one of the most effective measures to tackle the problem. Ensuring people have a better understanding of the greater consequences of the presence of feral cats in their surroundings. A large method of controlling wildlife cuts is the use of poisonous baits. However, this method is only implemented in Western Australia. Many native animal species in the area have developed resistance to this poison in some parts of Australia. Although poisonous baits can pose great danger to wildlife, don't let their appearance fool you. Each of these cute stray cats can kill up to 1,000 native animals each year. This situation is getting worse, and increased pressure from feral cats could quickly lead to other animals being pushed out of the ecosystem. Australia's National Science Agency SASO has reported that each year, feral cats kill an average of 1.8 billion animals in Australia, equivalent to about 2,000 native animals every minute. Aware of this situation, the Australian government has allowed citizens to participate in wildcat hunting activities. But this can only be done with a hunting license and in strict compliance with government regulations. The goal is to reduce the number of feral cats in the area, maintain the ecosystem, and ensure safe and effective hunting. In 2023, approximately 21,000 cats were euthanized in an effort to reduce the feral cat population. Night hunting is practiced, with many feral cats hunting possums in the mountains and others hunting at night in remote and arid regions of Australia. The hunting instinct of wild cats makes them work effectively at night, but they are unaware that there are eyes watching them and guns aimed at them to optimize the effectiveness of hunting wild cats. Many people also participate in night hunting. It is a law of nature. To catch a predator, you must appear when they are hunting. During the hunt, farmers can use means such as guns to end the threat of feral cats. However, the encroachment of entire feral cat populations continues. Their claws have penetrated deep into Australia's ecosystem, especially in autumn when food is scarce. Feral cats will hunt small animals to secure a meal, and they even move close to residential areas in search of food. Controlling feral cats becomes a challenge in locating them. Hunting feral cats requires a lot of effort. Hunters often use specialized lighting systems combined with infrared lights, helping them clearly see the target and location of wild cats during night hunts. However, things are not so simple, because these cats are very clever and sensitive. They have the ability to sense their surroundings quickly, along with good night vision. Once they have identified the target, they quickly rush in to catch their prey. Therefore, hunters need to be extremely cautious, because wild cats can run away or even attack if detected. A night hunting group usually needs at least 2 people to support each other, and everyone must hide quietly, observe and wait to spot the target. They move their hunting gear towards their intended target and carry it back to their body. This is not only an arduous hunt, but also brings exciting experiences. With the feeling of not knowing when wildcats will appear, the excitement from discovering and defeating them is something that will definitely make you happy. This joy comes not from killing, but from the clear awareness that each shot can help stem the encroachment of feral cat populations. At least, discourage them. In addition to hunting feral cats, trapping feral cats is also allowed in all parts of Australia, with the goal of reducing the number of aggressive predators. Although feral cats have only been present in Australia for about 200 years, they have left a destructive mark on the Australian landscape in recent times. Australian farmers have strong plans to limit the invasion of wild cats, proving their determination in the fight against these cute-looking killers. And now let's watch the rest of the video. Dr. Joseph, an infectious disease expert at the University of California, Los Angeles, said that feral pigs are wild animals that can carry diseases dangerous to humans. He warned that consuming wild boar meat could increase the risk of infectious diseases such as tuberculosis and African swine fever. Wild boar meat is available for consumption, and any invasive species can provide meat for feeding. It plays an important role in the human food chain, with millions of tons of wild boar meat consumed annually, far exceeding the consumption of some livestock species. Wild boars have the ability to reproduce and develop natural populations without human intervention, creating more diversity in the environment. Wild boar meat is not only a delicious and nutritious dish, but also an important source of income for many communities, including fur and bones, creating a diverse economic value chain once harvested. After being harvested, wild boar meat can be processed and treated before being used to ensure safety for consumers. Experienced hunters are often responsible for processing the meat, ensuring that the process is done properly. Wild boar meat is usually cooled in an ice jar for about 6 hours to reduce bacterial growth. The carcass can then be divided into smaller parts and vacuum sealed for preservation. Additionally, meat can also be divided into small pieces and browned for canning. After being exploited, the meat is often mixed with spices and divided into boxes, then sealed for preservation. This type of meat can be used in many different dishes. Wild boar meat can also be cooked and distributed to the community after being harvested. The cooking process is extremely important to ensure complete elimination of bacteria and parasites. Meat is usually cooked to at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit to ensure food safety and increase the nutritional value of the dish. One of the simple but attractive ways to enjoy wild boar meat is to marinate it with spices and grill it on a charcoal grill. The rich aroma and crispy crust create a great dish for any party. Wild boars not only affect forest ecosystems, but also play an active role in grasslands and in agricultural areas. Especially in the rainy season, they often dig and weed in pastures and fields, helping to soften the soil and create favorable conditions for harvesting grass. Millions of acres of abandoned land have been reused, improving the land and creating fertile areas ideal for farming. They serve as useful workers, performing tasks such as decomposing animal carcasses and controlling weeds, keeping the natural balance maintained. In addition, wild boar hunts also bring special entertainment value with their wildness and appeal. Hunting activities have become part of entertainment culture, becoming increasingly popular in many countries around the world. wild boar populations are growing, and hunting organizations around the world participate in annual hunting competitions with prizes in the tens of thousands of dollars. This suggests that wild hunting activities are becoming increasingly valuable to humans. Worldwide, many countries are seeing growth in wild boar populations, and hunting is becoming part of recreational culture, especially in surrounding countries. A good example is the state of Texas in the United States, where significant corn-growing areas are facing a serious challenge from feral hog populations. Data from the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, shows that in 2022, Dick's corn acreage reached 10.7 million acres, but about 1.5 million acres of corn were destroyed due to feral hog encroachment. Feral pigs, which account for 14% of Texas' total corn acreage, have created dire consequences. They not only attack collapsed cornfields, but also invade newly planted corn areas, leaving traces that make people worried. Their footprints and fur are scattered everywhere in the fields, causing great losses to agricultural markets, especially in the central region where wild boars thrive. According to the Texas Farmers Association, damage caused by wild pigs to the state's agricultural industry has reached $800 million in 2022. The Texas government is making efforts to control and reduce the number of wild pigs. But this is a challenge. Big challenges require close collaboration and creative solutions from both local communities and governments. Texas cornfield hunting has become an important means of dealing with invasive feral pig populations, and different hunting methods are being adopted. Hunting methods are effective in controlling and minimizing wild boar damage to cornfields. Hunting in the field during the day is the most common and most favored method. Hunters use a variety of equipment to shoot wild boars, which is an effective way to minimize damage and control wild boar populations. in central Texas in 2022. The value of feral hogs reached approximately $3,500 based on wild boar meat prices in Texas. Annual daylight hunting methods yield positive results, with approximately 100,000 feral hogs captured in Texas cornfields, a number that represents 15% of all feral hogs hunted in Texas each year. Hunting wild boar at night in cornfields using drones is an effective new method. The drone is equipped with an infrared camera to help observe the field and the movements of wild boars at night. High-density flashlights are used for illumination, helping hunters accurately and safely identify targets in low-light conditions. The nighttime method of hunting wild boar has proven to be effective by harvesting larger numbers of wild boar than hunting during the day, in which wild boars are usually active. At night, wild boars often gather to eat and drink in cornfields, creating favorable conditions for hunting. One of the greatest hunts ever was carried out at night. In Texas, an 800-pound wild boar was captured by a group of hunters in central Texas in 2022. Cornfield hunting is not only an effective method of controlling feral hog populations, but it also makes an important contribution to reducing the damage they cause to Texas agriculture. Diversity in hunting methods is key to predicting and maintaining sustainable growth for Texas agriculture in cornfields newly harvested or preparing for the growing season. Airplanes can be used to hunt wild boars at this time, when there are no trees covering the fields, making observation and hunting more effective.
Oh, ear hole.
Twin-engine helicopters are the most popular choice for hunting wild boar. This type is capable of carrying more hunters and equipment than single-engine helicopters. However, single-engine helicopters are still used in narrow or difficult-to-reach areas. Before starting hunting, aircraft often need to move high to observe areas with wild boars and reduce noise so as not to affect residential areas. Helicopter time helps hunters hunt wild boar more effectively than other methods. They allow hunters to control a larger area and more easily detect wild boars. Hunting by helicopter is also safer than the walking method because hunters do not need to come into direct contact with wild boars. However, operating and using helicopters can be expensive and difficult. In addition, hunting wild pigs by helicopter can cause noise and environmental pollution. So why are feral swine populations growing rapidly in Texas? Continue watching the rest of the video to discover more about this issue. Hello, dear friends! Brahman cattle are not just giant, but also considered the most valuable breed in the United States. With weights reaching thousands of pounds, they stand out as a top choice for export to modern countries worldwide, contributing significantly to the annual income of the livestock industry with thousands of dollars. So, how do farmers in the United States care for and transport Brahman cattle globally? Let's explore these fascinating aspects in the video below. Have you ever heard of the Brahman cattle breed before? If you have, please leave a 1 to let us know. Brahman cattle in the United States are recognized as a giant breed, renowned for their ability to thrive in hot and humid climates, especially in the southern states. These cattle not only captivate with their strong physical appearance, but also play a crucial role in the livestock industry in the United States, particularly on suburban farms. When mature, Brahman bulls can weigh from 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, while mature Brahman cows typically weigh between 1,000 and 1,500 pounds. These cattle are often allowed to graze in nearby grass fields, living in areas enclosed by fences to prevent them from wandering off. Farms regularly harvest fresh grass and dry feed to provide a balanced diet, combining concentrates and rubage to ensure overall health and development. In 1859, a significant event occurred when only 13 rabbits were brought to Australia from England by a wealthy individual named Thomas Austin. However, this event marked the beginning of a new chapter in the country's animal history. Since then, the uncontrolled explosion in the rabbit population has had serious negative impacts on both nature and agriculture. This issue has not only caused headaches for the government, but also posed significant challenges for many farmers in finding solutions and measures to prevent the rabbit's proliferation. Over the past 100 years, Australian governments and farmers have implemented various measures to control the rabbit population. These measures include building fences, destroying rabbit burrows, and deploying biological control methods, such as infecting rabbits with viruses and releasing them into the wild. However, due to favorable living conditions and rapid reproduction rates, the rabbit population continues to increase unchecked, despite efforts to eradicate them. Female rabbits typically start reproducing at just 5 to 6 months old. Today, female rabbits in Australia can produce up to 4 litters a year, with each litter typically consisting of 7 to 10 offspring. The young rabbits live in burrows for a long time and only leave when their mothers feel safe. They are nursed for about 4 weeks before they start eating other food. According to research by the Australian Pest Animal Control CRC, an estimated 287 million rabbits live in Australia, with around 177 million born each year. As of now, hundreds of millions of rabbits have been distributed across every territory in Australia and can be found wherever there is grass and suitable nesting sites. Rabbits are a preferred prey for carnivorous animals such as feral dogs. Feral cats and foxes. Although the number of rabbits killed each year by predators is small compared to the total rabbit population in Australia, it still has a significant impact on the ecosystem. After about 4 to 5 weeks, these young rabbits will stop nursing and begin a new independent life. They will search for food wherever they can find it, from backyards to gardens or open fields. Essentially, almost any place in Australia can be an ideal habitat for these adaptable animals, except for areas with a lot of clay and sand, such as in the northern and southern regions of the continent. Currently, New South Wales, Queensland, and Victoria are the states with the largest rabbit populations. with New South Wales alone having about 65 million rabbits. Here are some of the negative impacts caused by the hundreds of millions of rabbits. One significant impact is the depletion of Australia's natural grass resources due to the overdispersion of rabbits. A mature rabbit can consume up to 7% of its body weight in grass each day, leading to a decrease in grass availability for other animal species. Rabbits also threaten around 322 different plant and animal species, resulting in significant economic losses for the Australian government, estimated at over $215 million annually. Australia's rabbit population has reached a record high, exceeding the country's human population by over 11 times. This not only poses a major challenge to ecology, but also threatens the country's agriculture. The nesting habits of millions of Australian rabbits also have serious consequences, from erosion to the destruction of natural landscapes where they live. This also creates unnecessary competition with native animal species, especially as the rabbit population continues to grow. To address this issue, the Australian government has approved rabbit hunting without limits on the number of rabbits that can be killed. Furthermore, organized rabbit hunting is encouraged to reduce the pressure of this invasive species on the natural environment. In summary, similar to the issue of feral pigs in the United States, the rabbit problem in Australia will continue to be a major challenge for both the government and farmers for many years to come. They will need to continuously search for and implement effective control measures to prevent the proliferation of this invasive species. Bighorn sheep are not only adorable animals on the prairie, but also a major threat to farming communities in America. Images of them attacking passing vehicles evoke insecurity and anxiety for people living near this area. The feeling of uncertainty about potential consequences makes people feel tense, especially when witnessing attacks that leave them beaten and falling from high cliffs. This is not just an ordinary agricultural problem. It is an exciting challenge that farmers face every day. The presence of bighorn sheep not only requires caution as farmers approach them, but also requires finesse and strategy. Rural life becomes a constant adventure, and every move must be carefully calculated to avoid upsetting the natural balance of the bighorn sheep herd. Looking at these challenges is not only about protecting the environment and communities, but also an opportunity for farmers to demonstrate their talent and ingenuity in facing unique and difficult situations. Good hunters are those who must take advantage of the mountainous environment to optimize hunting opportunities. To avoid the attention of bighorn sheep, they use rocks and vegetation to create cover, maintain a safe distance, and wait for a favorable time to conduct the hunt. The hunter's silence and concentration become important, as any noise can startle a bighorn sheep and cause them to flee. Bighorn sheep, also known as Rocky Mountain sheep, are unique and powerful creatures of the Rocky Mountains and vast grasslands of North America. With their strong physique and high-curved horns, they have become a symbol of the mountains. Their characteristic brown fur helps them blend in perfectly with the mountainous and rocky environment. In particular, the large horns of the male ram are the most outstanding feature. This powerful horn is not only a symbol of strength, but is also often used in fights between males, aiming to establish dominance in the community. This is a unique and fascinating aspect of natural life. Through these interactions, bighorn sheep are able to build relationships with humans and gradually become accustomed to their presence. Professionals often apply positive reinforcement methods to create environments that encourage positive interactions between bighorn sheep and humans. However, to achieve effective and safe domestication, participants need to have a deep understanding of bighorn sheep behavior and biology. If you prefer this approach, please leave your number 1 in the comments. Bighorn lamb is not only a popular dish loved by many people, but is also unique with its rich flavor, combining the deliciousness of beef with its characteristic softness and sweetness. In addition, bighorn lamb is a source of high-quality protein, providing essential vitamins that support brain and nervous system function. if you want to discover a unique and flavorful culinary experience. There's nothing stopping you from enjoying a juicy piece of bighorn lamb. This is definitely an opportunity to discover new flavors and enjoy the characteristic aroma of this meat.